Ring of Honor Wrestling, always full of action. We've said it before. They call themselves the best wrestling on the planet, and it's hard to argue because they have some of the best wrestling on the planet. One of those wrestlers joins me now via the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. He is part of the foundation. He is Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Follow him on Twitter at sauce_Williams. Tracy, how are you, man?
I'm having a beautiful day. How about you, Stu?
I'm good, man. Okay, I got to ask, why Hot Sauce?
Oh, man. Well, to keep it brief, I mean, you never really get to choose your own nicknames in life, right? You know, if you did, everybody would have a super cool nickname. It's just something that came up from like a dumb inside joke between some friends and me. Actually, Chuck Taylor kind of coined the name, and kind of I ended up just taking it and running with it. And so just one of those sort of dumb things that catches on you can't shake and get rid of.
Okay, understand. Yeah, comic. Now seeing that coming from Chuck Taylor, I can understand that, I guess. So then the logical next question is, do you like spicy foods? Yeah,
luckily I do. You know, I'd feel like a phony if my answer to that was no, but luckily it works out where I actually do quite enjoy, you know, reasonably spicy foods. I'm not like I wouldn't call myself a heat seeker necessarily.
Okay, all right.
Maybe a little bit of a heat seeker, yeah.
All right. I get you. What's your favorite? Give me your favorite one or two to indulge in.
It's a weird one, but I mean, there's a local place in Brooklyn I used to live right by called Soul Sips. It's like a vegan cafe, kind of like, you know, they got like some Jamaican influences and some sort of West Indian influences, and they make a really, really good hot sauce that they don't bottle it. Like I wish I could buy it in a bottle, but you can't. You just gotta eat there. But you know that, and then I like all the basic stuff too. Like I've got no problem with like Taco Bell packets, whether it's, you know, fire or hot or even Diablo. But none of them are spicy. They all just kind of have like a nice sweet taste to them, you know. And I like it. Even the basic stuff is great. Cholula, I'm fine. I'm rolling with Cholula.
Okay, all right. Okay, we get that, some Cholula there. Let me ask you this, because I was doing some research on you. Mm-hmm. When did you get your start in pro wrestling?
Well, I started in 2009.
Okay.
I was trained at the Jakara Wrestle Factory by Cesaro and by Mike Quackenbush at the time, and by Sarah Del Rey. Helped out a lot back then as kind of an unofficial third trainer.
Okay.
And so I got started in 2009 and wrestled, you know, quite a bit for quite a while. It's only things really picked up for me when I kind of got to Evolve Wrestling, kind of, I guess, my first sort of bigger break outside of that scene, and it kind of kicked off from there. So it's been a while. It's been, I guess that makes it like, you know, almost 13 years or so.
Yeah, got about 13 years. In Jakara, and we've got something kind of similar here in Austin with Inspire. Mm-hmm. Used to be called Inspire Pro, now called Inspire AD. I do commentary for them whenever we get back going. Jakara did things kind of differently from other promotions. It wasn't your standard pro wrestling, good guy, bad guy, anything. They had kind of some eccentric stories, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think learning in that environment kind of helps a lot because it kind of teaches you to think a little bit outside the box, and it's up to you how far outside the box you go. You know, like you watch me wrestle, I'm not, you know, I don't dress up like an animal or anything. I don't do anything too crazy, but it gives you that openness of the mind to sort of be open to whatever ideas come your way and have the ability to make things work, even if they are a little crazy, because, you know, pro wrestling, things get crazy. So I think it's a really good mental state to come into wrestling with, that you're not just kind of getting taught, you know, tackle, drop down, hip toss, and send you into the ring to go like figure it out for yourself. They kind of, you know, they teach you a lot about the creative side of wrestling, which I think is great. I think it's a great environment to come up in.
Okay. You joined Ring of Honor in 2018, joined as part of Lifeblood. What was that experience like, being in Lifeblood? And, you know, it felt like one of those stories that really could take off, but it just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I think, to try to put it succinctly, what we're seeing now with the foundation is what I was imagining when I started in a Ring of Honor and when I started with the whole Lifeblood thing. The ideals and the mindset that I was seeing in that sort of story and in that group are exactly what's coming out now in the foundation. It was just a real rocky start to actually get that together and get it going, because you know, people were coming into the company, leaving the company. It was a very like small sort of transitional time for Ring of Honor, which was good and bad. You know, it allowed me to come in and make a home there and try to get something going. But at the same time, there were so many moving pieces that it wasn't until Jonathan Gresham, myself, and Jay Lethal formed the foundation and then brought in Rhett Titus and then made it a foursome. And now we've always got our eyes looking around. It wasn't until that moment that things actually started to look a little bit like what I was trying to do that whole time. Nothing against the people that were in Lifeblood. It just is what it is. It just kind of, you know, you got to roll with the punches in wrestling and, you know, make lemons out of lemonade all the time. And we had a lot to deal with, but yeah, it's nice to see it paying off now with the foundation.
Well, and I can see that where Lifeblood kind of they laid that foundation of, you know, adhering to the code of honor and kind of, for lack of a better term, playing by the rules. And now the foundation seems to have taken that, gone a step further with the pure wrestling, and it's, you know, and like you said, it seems to have paid off. You recently did commentary for Ring of Honor Television with Ian and Caprice. What was that experience like, and would you like to do it again?
Oh yeah, I love doing commentary. I always have. When I was on the Indies, I would try to do it whenever I could. Beyond Wrestling was always really good for that. Like, their shows were pretty much always commentated by wrestlers. Sometimes, you know, wrestlers who were on the show who just finished or had a match coming up and would kind of cycle in and out. And it gives you that experience of taking on a different role and, you know, working on your speaking, working on your presentation in a way that is separate from being in the ring or cutting a promo on somebody. And I think it's a valuable skill, and it's one that I really enjoy. I think I have a little bit of a natural gift for it. So, you know, why wouldn't I enjoy it? I think I'm pretty good at it. So I always love doing it, and I would love to do it more. You know, especially there are so many great wrestlers in Ring of Honor that, you know, people aren't always on every show. We only have an hour of TV, so people aren't always on. But, you know, it's nice to have that in your skill set where even if I'm not in the ring, let's say there's some pure action going on, or one of the foundation members that's not me is in the ring wrestling, I can commentate on that match and, you know, give my 2 cents in that way. So I look at it as a valuable skill and one that I'd like to expound upon.
Biggest lesson you learned from doing commentary, or maybe a piece of advice you got from Ian or Caprice or somebody regarding your commentary skills?
I mean, I wish I had more time to talk to them about it. I mean, maybe I should give them a call and ask and try to get a nice little nugget of advice.
Right.
But I mean, one thing I've noticed for myself is that it really helps you wrap your mind around telling a story. You know, as a wrestler myself, when I'm having to vocally speak about what I'm seeing and understand and then regurgitate that information based on, you know, only physical actions in the ring, it puts you in a different mindset of like making sure that what you do is clear and that what you're doing is clear. And I think that that's a great way to go about wrestling is thinking, is what I'm doing, is my motivation clear? Is a commentator who I didn't speak to going to understand what it is that I'm going for here, what it is that I'm doing, and be able to further explain that, you know, with words to the audience. And if, you know, I always want to make it easy for the commentators to understand what my goal is, what my game plan is. what the story of the match is and all that. So it's nice to be on the other end of that sometimes.
Right. And I will say, both Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman and they're good, they're friends. And one of the things I like is that Ring of Honor, it's while you do the wrestling commentary, it does come from a somewhat of a sports angle, I guess. Because I've done some football commentary as well. And it's, while you have to, you got to help tell the story that's happening in the ring, but it helps that it's a little more sports based. And I think that's what we see, not just in commentary, but in the action itself at Ring of Honor. And that's something that you guys should be highly commended for. Talk with Tracy Williams, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Last week had a great match. You and the rest of the foundation defeating Eli Isom, CB, Taylor Rust, and Joe Keys in a 8-man tag. That felt like it was kind of one of those matches where it may not have been a for lack of a better term, pure wrestling match, but that was probably about as close as you could get to it. Just talk for a second about what you got out of that match.
Mm-hmm. I think that match was a kind of great example of part of what the foundation is about, which is giving a platform to wrestlers who have been underappreciated and who have the skills to take the next step in wrestling, but haven't been given that platform yet. When it comes to, technical wrestling, in-ring action. And so at the same time, being in a position like that, being the person on that side of the platform means that you have to prove why you're there, why you're on that side, and why your team is looked at as the gatekeepers or the measuring stick. And, so we went out to try to prove that. And like you said, it's a 8-person tag match. So it's bound to get kind of nuts. It is what it is, but it's nice to have that kind of match, keep it within the rules and still show that it's not boring. Like the rules of wrestling aren't limiting. I don't see them as limiting. I think we got plenty of room to do the craziest stuff in the world, between those ropes. And it's nice to do it within the rules and show that, it should be a big deal when those rules are broken. It should mean something.
Exactly. Before I let you go, coming up this week on Ring of Honor Television, it's a tag match, you and Jonathan Gresham from the foundation. And this match is probably going to be a little bit on the other end from pure wrestling, because you're taking on Chris Dickinson and Brody King from Violence Unlimited. This is, I know you guys are going to try to implement some pure wrestling, but the name says it all. It's Violence Unlimited, and Brody and Chris, they've been known to just be a absolute, brawlers, that kind of thing. Give me your, I guess, a scouting report, so to speak, for the Dirty Daddy and Brody King.
Yeah, honestly, I love this kind of matchup. I think that it makes things a lot more interesting when you're going up against something different than your own style. It brings all that stuff to the table where you're going to see a little bit of everything that you like, no matter who you are, no matter which side or style of wrestling you like, you're going to see a competition between, those different styles. And it's like I was saying, with given the sort of underappreciated pure guys that platform and having to prove yourself, when you're representing your style of wrestling, going up against the thing that you look at as an inferior style of wrestling, you really got to prove why you're the best. You got to live up, to the hype and live up to what you say and what you preach. And so this is a great opportunity to do that. It's great to team up with Jonathan Gresham. I don't think we've ever wrestled as a tag team before this match. We've never been in that combination, in that situation, as many times as we've been in the ring together. So that's also going to be really interesting. And Chris Dickinson and Brody King are unpredictable and insane. And it's going to be a great opportunity to show that pure wrestling can be violent and remain pure at the same time.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it. I'm going to let you go with this. I know you're starting to build towards Final Battle, December 11th. They're in Baltimore. You're a former television champion, former tag team champion. What are you? I guess I should ask. What are your sights set on right now? Are you looking to regain one of those titles? Are you looking to go further?
Well, when you look at the divisions in Ring of Honor, I really appreciate that they've focused on the divisions and the rankings within those divisions. Right now, Rhett, Titus, and I are former tag team champions in Ring of Honor. We've got to be in a good place in the rankings. Last time I checked, we were in a good place. And so that seems like the trajectory that makes the most sense would be to try to take back that gold and, right what was wrong, what was taken from us, get the tag team titles back. However, there's plenty of time before Final Battle and anything can happen. Jonathan Gresham, for example, just jumped into the world title rankings after losing the Pure title. And so, anything can happen there. He's got a couple weeks to prove himself and potentially end up with a shot before the year is over. So looking at that, who knows? I may do the same thing, or it may be Rhett and I go on for the tag titles. Either way, as always, the foundation is looking to take those goals, seize that power, and prove that Pure Wrestling is Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor is where Pure Wrestling lives.
Sounds like a plan. He is Hot Sauce. Tracy Williams. Follow him on Twitter at @sauce_Williams. Catch him this week on Ring of Honor Television. Catch it wherever Sinclair Broadcasting is. Here in Austin, Saturday nights, 11:05 p.m. Central on CBS Austin. Tracy, thanks so much for the time, man. All the best to you. All the best to everybody at Ring of Honor. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it. Check it out. Check Ring of Honor out.